Hey, beautiful people. My name is Vanessa Dyer. I'm a holistic dietitian helping women in perimenopause navigate changes in their bodies so they can feel better, be happy, and enjoy life. So, I usually make educational videos and I don't really have time to talk about like my personal experiences and challenges because it's just a whole other topic and I don't like to make really long videos. Um, also, it actually takes a long time to edit these videos as well. But I just made a video about cortisol and I just wanted to talk about how I personally overcame significantly high elevated cortisol for a very long time and what I still do to manage that. So, cortisol is very important. Like, we need it for homeostasis, but when we go through perimenopause, even like when we're going through really high stress in our life, it can cause a lot of health problems. So, when I had high cortisol levels when I was in high school and in my early 20s, my late 20s, and really up to when I was 32, I could not gain weight for the life of me. I had acne, I had insomnia, um, I had a lot of inflammation, so I had a lot of brain fog, bloating, hair loss. There was just a lot. Long story short, but I was born into a very toxic household and it was very chaotic. And then I want to say, I think I was 17 is when I started birth control. And that was actually to help with my acne because I had really bad, painful cystic acne and also to help regulate my periods. And I want to say with that, the birth control and going through the high cortisol, I just could not sleep for the life of me. I always woke up in the middle of the night. I also woke up starving. I was constantly hungry. Like, my metabolism was so high when my cortisol levels were high. And it wasn't actually until I got really into hormones did I really understand what was going on back then. I also had night sweats. I forgot. So I actually also had really bad night sweats. So I understand when women are having night sweats, like how they experience that when they're going through perimenopause. So I was changing my clothes, sometimes changing my sheets in the middle of the night, like around 3 a.m. And I just felt I don't want to say like a robot, but I just didn't feel like a person because I was so tired and the brain fog was just so bad. So 2018, I want to say, my friend, when I first met my really, really good friend in college, she was like trying to get me to do yoga for the longest time. I met her 2015. And it actually wasn't until 2018 that I get into yoga. And man, did yoga like change my life. It saved my life. And what's funny is I actually don't really do yoga now just because the studios around me are like all hot and I live in Florida and it's like always hot here. So I do miss it though. So I might go when it's cooler and not so hot all the time. But now I actually do Pilates, which to me, I actually really like the Pilates. But yoga taught me to just slow down. And I also suffered from really bad anxiety, social anxiety, really all the type of anxiety in general, like 30 plus years. So my cortisol levels were just through the roof. But yoga taught me to just slow down, learn how to breathe, learn how to regulate my breathing. And it just gave me a moment, like 45 minutes of peace that I never had before in my life. So that was one thing. And also, I want to say, like, the only way I kind of like got out of my household was working. So even though my jobs were like a little stressful, they were also kind of fun because I worked at Jamba Juice for a while and the people there were very fun. And also going to college. So just like getting out of the house was very beneficial for me. Time, and it wasn't really until I moved out. So like I moved out once when I was 18 and moved back in. And then when I went to college to actually fulfill my degree, because I was in college for a while, long story short, I was in college for a while because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was still living at home at the time. So the college that there was only a very, very few colleges at the time that offered the dietetic nutrition degree. And that was about 2 hours from me in Miami. So I went to FIU for 2 years. So I lived away. And it wasn't really until then was like, oh, this is what like sleeping feels like. I was actually able to sleep. Self-care is my priority because I've had mental breakdowns. I've had just really bad emotional, mental moments where I don't even recognize myself. So self-care is my priority. There's a lot of things that I personally do to regulate my stress on a daily basis and then on a like weekly basis. And I would say maybe like a monthly basis. So I had mentioned briefly, like in the video that I'm referring to, where I talk more about like the nutrition and lifestyle, like why the 3 a.m. wake up and why the fatigue happens during perimenopause, that I do write romance. So writing romance seriously saved my life. I would not be here now talking to you about how I manage my cortisol. So, but because I have my business now, I don't write as often, but my therapist told me that I have to write to manage my stress because I notice that when I don't write, I get very angsty. So I try to write like at least once a month. But I do try to read every day because when I say try, like sometimes I just can't find a book to read. And I'm very picky with my books. Like I am so picky with my books. And sometimes, honestly, what's great about being an author is if I can't find a book to read, I'll just pull up one of my own books and just kind of do like what I call light editing and reading it. When I wake up, I'll do my breathing. I'll do deep diaphragmatic breathing. Then I'll actually read a little bit, whether that's just for like 5 minutes. Sometimes when I'm working, so I do work part-time, if I feel like I'm just kind of like, okay, this is so redundant and I need a break from the computer, I'll just pull up my phone because I do read on my phone. I'll just read on my phone. And then sometimes I'll just read for like 30 minutes. I can read anywhere from 5 minutes to honestly like 2 hours if I'm really into a book. It helps ground me in this moment. So my mind used to be very chaotic. It used to run at what I called like 100 million miles a minute. And now it's not. And reading really helps me ground myself. Another thing, honestly, anime. Anime is such a huge part of my life, and I watch subtitled anime. So you have to kind of focus and pay attention to the words, otherwise you don't know what they're saying. Weekends, I play video games with my husband. I work out 3 times a week now. On another huge thing that really helped me regulate my stress was honestly removing myself from toxicity. So like I broke up with an abusive person. I set up a lot of boundaries with my family. Also, I don't allow negative people in my life. That is huge. That was huge. Another thing is I was a hardcore people pleaser. And people pleasers, that's a whole nother topic, but I was constantly, worried about other people. Worried if are they okay? Are they okay? Are they mad at me? Did I do something? Are they all right? Well, what can I do to make them feel better? And like I never thought about myself ever. Ever, 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 ever. Setting boundaries was the hardest thing that I ever did. And then hanging up my people pleasing coat as well. That was intense. The first time I set a boundary, I seriously had a panic attack. It can be very challenging for people, but now it's very simple for me to do. Another thing is actually I got into CBD, non-THC CBD, actually, yeah, when I broke up with my ex. And that really helped me just with my mental focus and to kind of like lower the anxiety. But I also just take it for inflammation, regulating myself. Well, with the ashwagandha, it is in my multivitamin. I did try taking like extra to see if it would really do anything, but I didn't really actually notice much of a change with my emotions, but it did help with the inflammation. So like I used to get a lot of body work for chronic pain and ashwagandha help. I know a lot of women take saffron, or some women take saffron. My friend takes saffron. She says it's super helpful, and GABA. But I actually eat also a lot of fermented foods. Like I eat fermented foods anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. And I've noticed a huge difference in my mood because what fermented foods do is they feed the healthy bacteria in our gut, which create short chain fatty acids that help create those neurotransmitters for mood. I'll make another video on that as well. Also, 90% of serotonin is created in our gut. Serotonin is what keeps us happy. It's what keeps us mellow, creates melatonin. It does a lot of things. It wears a lot of hats. So make sure I'm just doing what works best for me. But there's probably other things that I'm missing because, like I said, this has been a very long, ongoing journey. I got out of fight or flight when I was 32. I'm 35 now when I make this video. So it has not been a long time, but self-care every day is my priority. I have been there. And like I said, I know sometimes when I make my educational videos, I don't really go into too much detail because it is a lot. But I have been through a lot of what women are going through during perimenopause.